Hey, my Lipton. So I know there's some of my subscribers that are subscribed to me due to my Hindi film content, my ZTV content are like, girl, finally, like damn, like how long have you been saying that you're gonna do a Sholay film review and I see nothing yet. But listen, I told y'all I was gonna do a Sholay film review. Because I did put up a poll on my community tab and on my TikTok, and I asked, what film do y'all want me to review first? Do y'all want me to review Sholay or Mud? And obviously, the overwhelming majority was Sholay, which in a way is not really too surprising. But the reason why I added this to the poll because yes, like I've said it before in the past and I'm going to say it again, I am on a binge when it comes to especially old Hindi film content, especially if we're talking about like and I'm talking about like 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, 1990s Bollywood. Like I'm watching some really really old films and obviously Sholay is one of them. Now, I did watch Sholay. Sorry, y'all. Let me see something. Okay. I did watch Sholay when I was a kid growing up, but because like I think it was like a one like I watched it one time and that was it. So it was a very long time since it's been a couple of years. It's been a couple of years since I watched Sholay. So and I was just like, you know what? Sholay is one of those films where it is cemented within the Hindi film industry's history and like a blueprint in a lot of ways for a lot of films. So I did wanted to review it. And I did wanted to also revisit probably some of the things that I remembered or some of the things I don't remember. And there was a few things that I definitely forgot when I was watching this film. So um so this film so Sholay was a film a Bollywood film, a Hindi film released in 1975. Okay, and it was a star cast. Obviously you have Dharmendra, AmitabhBachchan, Hema, malini, jayabachchan, Sanjeev Kumar, and obviously the main villain and the guy that played the villain, Ahmad. Wait, Amjad Khan. Sorry, Amjad Khan. So I didn't. I don't. I'm so sorry, y'all. Apart from this, I haven't really watched a lot of films of Amjad Khan. I hope I'm saying his name right. Please, y'all. If I'm mispronouncing his name, I apologize. Like it's it's gonna take me a minute. But I think this was Ahmad Jad Khan's first Hindi film, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But and I'm gonna get to like as far as like the backstory of Sholay, the making of it, a little bit of it, and talk about some of the backstage antics that was going on within Sholay and so forth. But first, let me just do the film review. So let me just say this: overall, if I'm gonna talk about the film overall, I really enjoyed the film. Um, I thought that it was for its time. We're talking about Sholay. The film was made for its time. I don't think that if Sholay were to be made today, we will be dragging it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. We will be dragging it because while Sholay it was good for its time, like you have to watch it in the lens of like, okay, this was made in the 1970s. You know what I mean? Because it's like there are, especially if you're looking at this from a 2024 lens, there's definitely some flaws. There's some flaws within this film. Um, there's some flaws, and I was just, and obviously there, of course, the common sense area of things also pops in. It's like, okay, but why wasn't this done here? Why wasn't this done in this scene? Why wasn't it? So it's like, if you're gonna be watching it in a 2024 lens, you're gonna be nitpicky about everything within this film. So you have to watch it within a 1975 lens, like what was going through at that time. So that's why I'm like, okay, this was a good film. You feel me? This was a good film, especially if we're talking about like cinematography, color, everything, like especially like the dialogue and so forth. It was nice. It was a really good film. So we start off with this film of Sanjeev Kumar's character Thakur Saab. Um, so he's a retired police officer, right? And he basically his goal is to recruit uh Jay and Viru, who is played by Amitabh Bachchan, Amitabh Bachchan being Jay's character, and Viru being Dharmendra's character. So he wants to recruit those two to find or use them to find Gabbar Singh, who is played by Amajad Khan. Okay, and obviously there's a backstory between Gabbar Singh and Thakur Saab. Now, when I was watching this, and obviously it began, it started off with like the backstory between how, Thakur Saab, had arrested Jay and Viru in the past. And like, because, Jay and Viru, they're best friends, but at the same time, they're also thugs and crooks and so forth. They steal and do all that extra stuff. So, they're petty thieves. They're petty thieves. So, obviously, Thakur Saab knows them and so forth. So they went to jail, they came out, so forth and so forth. So, but basically, it's like, in a way, there's some time jumps here and there. So, first, it begins with Jay and Viru being arrested, and then, fighting off some bandits, and then Thakur Saab sees, like, oh, okay, like, even though, like, these Viru and Jay are crooks and thugs, like, they have some moves. Like, he's very impressed with their with how they fight and so forth. So he basically recruits Jay and Viru to say, listen, I have a tax for you. I'm gonna pay you. Like, I need you to go after Gabbar Singh for me. And of course, Viru and Jay, they're like, listen, okay, like, I know you want us to do this and all, like, whatever. But it's like, okay, like, we're doing this for the money. Like, we're gonna do it for the money. We don't even want to ask questions. Like, where's the money at? So Thakur Saab was just like, okay, like, I'll give you the money. Don't worry about it. Da 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 da. So first of all, what? Okay, so I'm gonna be doing time jumps and so forth. So as the film went on, because I don't remember everything. Like I said, I watched Sholay when I was really young. So when I was watching like the backstory between Gabbar Singh and Thakur Saab, and I'm like, okay, why does he want to recruit Gabbar Singh? Because clearly Gabbar Singh is also a crook, but so is Viru and Jay. But like, what did he do specifically to Thakur Saab? So basically, Gabbar Singh, obviously a criminal too. Thakur Saab had arrested Gabbar Singh at one point, and Gabbar Singh was basically just like to Thakur Saab, like, well, I'm gonna get you one day for you doing this to me, for you arresting me. You know how criminals are; they're always threatening the police officers. So Thakur Saab was like, okay, whatever, just go to jail. So Thakur Saab, okay, Gabbar Singh ends up actually escaping from prison, and Gabbar Singh ends up like killing almost all of Thakur Saab's family when he escapes prison. Like Gabbar Singh and his goons kill Gabbar Singh's sons, the daughter-in-laws, except for jayabachchan's character, who is Radha. And by the way, she's right here on the bottom left side in white. She's also Thakur Saab's daughter-in-law. So basically, her husband ends up dying as well by Gabbar Singh. So, so Thakur Saab is like furious, of course, frustrated and heartbroken. So he decides by himself, and I'm like, oh my God, why would you go by yourself to go, have a confrontation with Gabbar Singh? Because he's probably going to have a lot of his thugs and his goons with him. So Thakur Saab ends up finding Gabbar Singh, tries to fight him. The goons end up tying Thakur Saab up, crucifixion style. Gabbar Singh is like, listen, there's a lot of life in your hands, in your arms or whatever. And then Gabbar Singh ends up chopping off Thakur Saab's arms off, basically. And I was just like, wow. Now, obviously, if we're talking about, like I said before, if we're talking about this from a 2024 lens and things like that, of course, like I feel like if this was done in 2024, I feel like the way that Takutsab's arms were like supposed to be chopped off, like clearly you can see like in the costume. Like I'm glad that they had him covered up a little bit more, as far as like Sanjeev Kumar's character, but like in the costume you can clearly see like his arms are like poking out a lot of the times through his white like through his white shirt. So it's just like that was the only part that was kind of annoying me throughout the film, where it was like he was supposed to have chopped arms, but clearly you could see through his his garb that his arms are still there. But whatever. But it's obviously supposed to be an optical illusion. So yes, Dr. Saab's arm has been chopped off. Um, so that's their backstory between Gabbar Singh and Thakur Saab. Now I want to go back to Viru and Jay. So Viru and Jay, of course, they're gonna go meet Thakur Saab at his house, and that's where Hema Malini's character, Basanti, comes into play. Now I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I found Hema Malini in Sholay, like as far as like her obviously, and I think that's what the writing, especially the script, was supposed to be, and I think that she embodied the character of Basanti. But I'm talking about her, like the character, as far as like the character, not Himamani as an actress, because I like Himamani as an actress, but like the character of Basanti was so annoying. Like she was, and I get it, like that's what the character was supposed to be, a very talkative person and like keep like talking like 5 miles per hour, but it was so annoying. Like it's one of those things where it is somewhat of like a channel changer. That's what I call those kind of things where a character is annoying. Like there's like funny annoying. There's two types of annoying. There's funny annoying, and then there's like annoyance and like cringy annoying. And I felt like Basanti was like cringy annoying. Like it was to the point where I was like fast forwarding some of her dialogue scenes because it was too. I couldn't handle it. Like Basanti was so annoying. She talked way too damn much. I was glad when Jay was just like, listen, okay, girl, yeah, we knew that your name was Basanti, clearly, because only a Basanti can talk like this. Because, oh, I was so annoyed by her character. I was so annoyed. Like, I was just like, skip, 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 skip. Like, and clearly, that's how Himawani, acted her behind off as Basanti. Like, and clearly the script was made to make the Basanti character be this way, but I do wish that it could have been a little bit different. I think it should have been, annoying funny than cringe funny, because cringe funny is the channel changer. I'm sorry, like Basanti was just so annoying. Like I couldn't stand her in this film. Also, here's another thing, and I've been thinking about this lately, and this also in a lot of Hema Malini's films back in the 1970s and early 80s. Someone needs to explain to me why was the cast, the Bollywood at the time, putting wigs on their heroines? Can someone explain this to me? Why was Hema Malini wearing wigs during her early part of her career? Like I don't understand it. Like most of the wigs that Hema Malini is wearing, if you look at it in Sholay, at least in Sita or Gita, it would look fine in some scenes, but then there's other scenes where the wig was just, I didn't like the way, you can tell that it's a wig. You can tell that it's not her hair. In Sholay, Hema Malini's hair was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible. You could tell that it's a wig. There was no part. And I was just like, why did she even need to wear a wig? What the hell was going on with the hair department that they told her that she needed to wear a wig? And mind you, Hema Malini had hair at that time. Long hair. Long, beautiful hair. Like what? I don't understand what was the point of putting wigs on heroines that already have hair. Like, you didn't see jayabachchan's character Radha wearing a wig. So why was him? I don't understand that. Someone needs to explain that to me. Why was that the trend back in the 1970s and early 80s where Bollywood actresses had to wear wigs? Because I'm sorry, it looked bad. And especially Hema Malini, for some reason, and it could have been other actresses too, but Hema Malini specifically, if you look at all of her early work in the 1970s, the wigs that she was wearing it was so bad. It was so bad. And I wish they would have never done that. I wish that they could have just left her with her real hair, because she actually has a lot of hair. Like, that was so annoying. Anyway, um, but yeah, like Hema, Basanti was, the, I guess, driving Viru, and of course Viru was took a liking into Basanti. I think, he was very attracted to her and so forth. And, Jay just didn't care. Jay was just like, whatever, like I just don't care about this. But obviously Jay, when he sees Radha, who's played by Jayabachchan and also his real wife in real life, he found her to be very interesting and so forth. Um, Obviously, as the film goes on, Sanjeev is telling Viru and Jay, listen, like, I want Gabbar Singh alive. Like, do not kill him. He's mine. Just capture him. Just do this. And what when Thakur Saab was saying this, I was just like, Thakur, why? First of all, you're a cop. You're a retired police officer. Why are you like? He basically made Jay and Viru bounty hunters. Basically, like that's what they were. They were like hired bounty hunters by a retired policeman. And but to me that didn't make sense too, because it's like, why are you going to thugs and crooks to help you find another thug and crook, as if they're not going to identify with a Gabbar Singh? Why aren't you just hiring a private investigator, or get someone from your police force to go and get Gabbar Singh? Why are you going to, like, obviously, this is my 2024 lens, that's how it is, but whatever, we settled with that fact. So obviously the music, I also want to talk about the music. I'll be honest with you, I think the song that I loved the most from Sholay was Jab Tak Hai Jaan. To me personally, I thought I really loved it. I love Hema Malini's dance, her performance. We, like, I said this multiple times in previous reviews that I've done, nothing is beating back, like, if we're talking about golden age Bollywood music, today Hindi film music soundtracks are not beating like a Sholay soundtrack. Okay, like, we're no longer gonna have those classics anymore, unfortunately. Like, now we just have fast music. We have music that is very microwavable. We don't have classics. We don't have something that we're gonna go back and listen to and be like, oh my god, like, this is what this meant to me at this time, at this moment. Today we no longer have that. And I'm gonna make another video too again. And I did a video before talking about Bollywood soundtrack music today and how horrible it is. But I'm also gonna be doing, and it's so off topic, but I'm also gonna be doing an unpopular opinion on Ajit Singh. And I know that I'm gonna get a few people that's gonna be upset with me on that opinion, but it has to be said. But going back to this, yeah, I think Jab Tak Hai Jaan for me personally was my favorite song out of this movie. I thought Hema Malini did a great job. Also, obviously, just fast forwarding. When Viru and Jay, and to me, I felt like, okay, like, why when I was watching this film, I was like, why is Thakur only recruiting Viru and Jay? Like, why isn't he also training, his village, and how, like, training them to protect themselves, and training them to, carry a weapon when Gabbar Singh and his goons come to the village and terrorize them? Like, to me, I felt like Thakur, in a way, Thakur was so, like, annoying in this film too, because it's like, you basically want Vito and Jay to put their lives on the line. Like, okay, if you're gonna recruit them, recruit other people too. Have an army. Like, Gabbar Singh has a whole gang with him, and you're only recruiting Vito and Jay to come and fight all these people. Like, how did you not think someone was gonna die? Like, so that was my only thing with Thakur. Like, Thakur was just like, he wasn't making any sense to me. Radha, who's played by Jaya. So, she's a widow. She is just there. Jay definitely takes a liking to her and wants to marry her, and Viru also wants to marry Basanti. But okay. But, obviously Viru asks Jay to go to Basanti's family, ask them for their hand in marriage, ask Basanti for her hand in marriage, and Jay is just like, oh, my friend is a gambler. He's a drunk. He's this. He steals. But, he is a nice guy. He'll stop all of that when he marries Basanti. So, I see Basanti's aunt didn't like that. And, Vito, this part was funny when Vito was about to commit suicide and he was drunk and, he was like, oh, tell that old hag that I want to marry her niece, Basanti. Like, just acting a fool. I'm not going to lie. And I have to say this. In a way, the Vito as a character, was in a way art imitating life when it comes to Dharmendra and a lot of his antics as well. Because just with the drinking and the women and and I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to it towards the end of this video, but it's no shade. But when I was watching this and I was watching Vito, I was like, yeah, there's some aspects of Dudman that I see in this. Clearly, there's a reason why he was casted as Vito for Sholay. So, yeah, that's what happened. And yes, so clearly, Gabbar Singh, men end up, capturing Basanti at one point. And then they also went and also captured Vito. So then Gabbar Singh basically told Basanti, okay, I'm not gonna blow Vito's head off unless you dance for me. So you need to dance. As long as your feet keep moving, he will live. If your feet stop moving, I will blow his brains out. So that's where the Jab Tak Hai Jaan song comes into play. And they were just throwing. They were so horrible. Gabbar Singh's men start throwing glass at Basanti. They, just doing a bunch of shit, and then, she ends up fainting a little bit, and then Jake comes in for the save, and saves Vito and Basanti. So they end up running. Gabbar Singh's men go after them, and Jay was just like, listen, Vito, you take Basanti and you run. I'll be here to fight these people off. You need to get Basanti to safety. And Vito was like, no, I want to stay here with you, and then I need to be here. And then Jay was like, leave. So Vito and Basanti leave. Jay is fighting off the bandits, fighting off Gabbar Singh's bandits and all those different things. Now, this part I was a little bit, I think this is the part where I don't remember. And clearly, like I said before, I watched Sholay when I was young, but I don't remember this part. I had no clue that Jay was gonna die. Like, I actually thought he was gonna live to marry Radha, and I was just like, wait, did he really die? Like, I was like, that's literally my reaction. I'm like, oh my god, did he really die? Like, aren't they? I hope they're gonna bring him back, so forth, so forth. And I was just like, wow, like they really killed off Jay. And Vito came back and was heartbroken over it, and it was crazy. And Radha was also very, very just like, I feel so bad for Radha. Like, that's the thing. I feel so bad for Radha in this film because Radha was just like, first her husband died by Gabbar Singh. Now a man that she was taking a liking to also died too. She's gonna stay with a widow for her rest of her life. She's never gonna love again. It's over for Radha. I felt so bad for her. Viru was just, it was crazy. It was really, really crazy. And also, before I even get further on, before this scene, I did see the Mehbooba scene with Helen. I'll be honest with you, and this is my own personal opinion. I personally don't see the hype with Helen. I know she had a cameo scene right here with the Mehbooba song. But it's like, I know everybody's calling her, oh, she was the dance queen. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm sorry. Like, especially when I'm watching older Hindi films, like from back in the 60s and so forth, there were better dancers. I feel like Helen more so represented a Western vibe with her dancing. Personally, for me, I just feel like Helen wasn't all that. Like, I think that Vijayanti Mala is a better dancer than Helen. I think Hema Malini even is a better dancer than Helen. Like, they were better dancers to me personally. I just think that because Helen was very more like sex, like she had a little bit more sex appeal and more open skinned compared to these other actresses. That's why they're like, oh yeah, she's the dancing queen. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. Vijay Mala definitely has her beat for me in my book. I think Vijay Mala is a way better dancer than him Mala. I mean, than Helen. Hell, even Helen said that, and yeah, whatever. But yeah, so that was that. So Jay ends up dying, and I was shocked to see that. Viru then goes to Gabbar Singh's camp. It starts beating the hell out of Gabbar Singh and tries to kill him. Here comes Thakur Saab with his no arms having ass. Here he comes. Oh, Viru, leave him alone. Jay promised that he will be mine. I want him alive. Viru ends up leaving. He's like, okay, you want him alive? I'm like, okay, you here. I'm out. And then here comes Thakur Saab. Thakur ends up, and then Gabbar Singh was like, listen, what you gonna do? Gabbar Singh was like, what are you gonna do? First of all, you ain't got no arms. I chopped those arms off. What are you gonna do? And then Thakur was like, listen, it's not about the arms, it's about the feet. He ends up doing a drop kick on that ass. Ends up drop kicking Gabbar Singh, ends up kicking him and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's cute and all, but this is not gonna work. There's only so long that you can be using your feet. And by the way, y'all, in that scene where Thakur and Gabbar Singh are fighting, there are some spots, and this is why, I said that you gotta look at this from a 1970s lens and not a 2024 lens. There are some parts in that fight where you can literally see Sanjeev Kumar's fingers coming out of the shirt. Like, I was just like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. So they end up fighting, and then the villagers come, and then, he ends up beating the hell out of Gabbar Singh and so forth. I think Gabbar Singh is still alive. I think they just, oh yeah. And then these police officers end up, and I'm like, y'all police officers, y'all so useless. Y'all are so useless. How do y'all know where Gabbar Singh is at? Him and his goons are at, and yet none of y'all don't call the cavalry on Gabbar Singh. Way fire and blood on Gabbar Singh and his gang. Y'all sit over there until it's towards the end where his ass is already beat up for y'all to come talking about, oh, Thakur Saab, get your emotions out of it. I'm like, what emotions? This is revenge. Like, I was so bad. So towards the end, they end up having a funeral for Jay. Radha was heartbroken, and she's just like, well, I guess I'm never gonna get married again. So that was the end of it. And, Viru ends up taking the train, I guess going back to the city. And then Basanti was also in the train. So I guess they having their happily ever after. And the movie ended there. Now, I do want to say this. This film ended up becoming one of the all-time blockbusters in Hindi film in history. Is one of, back then I think it was like the first all-time blockbuster, but back then it was yeah, it was one of the all-time blockbusters, because at first Sholay was dropped on a holiday, if I'm not mistaken, back in the 1970s. And at first it started off very slow when it comes to the box office, because at first they were getting like a little bit of bad reviews, but then once, like, it was like word of mouth. When it came to the movie, and that's when more people started to go to theaters and watching Sholay. And it ended up becoming one of the biggest, now it's one of like back then it was like the biggest thing of all time. Like, Sholay was a movement. Y'all need to actually go watch some videos in a documentary on like Sholay and how impactful it was. Like, there was a lot of quotes. The villain in the film, Gabbar Singh, was like, everybody loved his quotes and his character. Like, the legacy of Sholay is, I can't, even though for me personally it has some flaws, but I would never take away its legacy within Hindi film history. And the fact that you had AmitabhBachchan, the fact that you had Dharmendra, the fact that you had Hema Malini, the fact that you had jayabachchan, the fact that you had Amjad Khan in this film, it was an amazing thing. It was an amazing thing. So the legacy and the cultural influence of Sholay is like it. It was amazing. It was amazing. And there are times where I do think about it, like these kind of films like Sholay or Sangam or Ganga Jamuna or like Mother India. Like I do think about these films and how people talk about them now. Like it was like where they say, "Oh my God, you had to be there." Like it was like the greatest thing of all time. The public reception, everything was just so amazing. There are times where you do wish that you were there back then and to see, like, to have those conversations. You know what I mean? And to be there at that time. So those are the things like I like when I like to read about it. Like it's nice to see and nice to hear. But yeah, like Sholay first started off with negative reviews. People didn't like it at first in the beginning. But then as like a couple of days went on, more and more people started to go to the theaters and watch it. And they loved it. People loved it. It became a blockbuster, not only in like in Bollywood, but also like there are some parts in like within Africa too, where people were just like, Sholay was one of the greatest things that we ever watched. So yeah, Sholay was just it's still like a classic. It's classic. Um, but I like how I do it in these videos. Y'all know how I do it in these videos. We also got to talk about the mess. First, let me talk about this. Let's talk about, before I get to Hema, Malini, and Sanjeev Kumar. So if y'all don't know, Dharmendra apparently is the one that got AmitabhBachchan to play the character of Jay on Sholay. Okay? And I heard of this before, but I didn't do a lot of research until now. So apparently the character of Jay initially was supposed to go to Shatrughn Sinha, who is the father of Sonakshi Sinha. But but then I guess due to some, I don't know, maybe timing issues and so forth. And then apparently AmitabhBachchan was the one that told Dharmendra to put in a good word for him to the director or the casting director, and they end up choosing Amitabh. Now let's read a little bit. It says here, because apparently it says here in an interview, Dharmendra admitted that he played a role in hiring AmitabhBachchan and said that he was talking about it publicly because Amitabh admitted it himself. So it says here, Dharmendra said in an appearance, "I've never spoken about this, but since Amitabh has started saying that I helped him get the role, I'll say it. Yes, I did help him get the role. He used to come to me, but originally the role was gonna go to Sinha. He said that Shatrughn Sinha even spoke to him about why he suggested Amitabh's name. And Dharmendra told him, I don't know. He came to me first and I thought the poor guy should get it." Okay? So we got to remember, this was also a time where, not to say like, 1975, Amitabh wasn't getting a lot of hits, but anybody that knows Amitabh knows, like in the early parts of his career, AmitabhBachchan was struggling. Like he was getting a lot of flops in the beginning of his career. People really counted him out. Rajesh Khanna, all those people really counted Amitabh out, and Amitabh needed a lick. He needed a hit. So however way he was gonna get it, and he was networking. Okay, so obviously he networked with Dharmendra, and Dharmendra helped him out. Now I will say this though: if I was Shatrughn Sinha, I would never speak to Dharmendra ever again. Okay, I would never speak to. We will stop being friends. You mean to tell me you gave one of the biggest blockbusters of all time? I was supposed to play the role of Jay, and you end up giving that role to AmitabhBachchan. If I was Shatrughn Sinha, I would have stopped talking to Dharmendra for a couple of years. Like if I was him, oh my God, I would have been so pissed. Like you were out here networking for Amitabh to get Sholay, and what? That was supposed to be for me. I'm so pissed. If I was him, I would have been mad. But then again, Dharmendra was just doing what, at the end of the day, Amitabh asked him. You were having scheduling issues, so I had to do what I had to do. It was what it was. And listen, Amitabh, I have to give him his tens. He networked. At the end of the day, Amitabh Bachchan never gave up. He worked his behind off, even though there was a lot of flops in the beginning of his career. But he ended up getting a lot of hits too, a lot of blockbusters. So I have to give him his tens. But yeah, so that's one of the backstage news. Here is the other part. So I spoke about this in a previous video about Hema Malini and the men that were fawning over her during the 1970s. So, and I spoke about this in my Sitar or Gita review. I spoke about Hema Malini and Sanjeev Kumar's interaction in Sitar or Gita, and a little bit of about her and Dharmendra. And of course, I spoke about how in that Sitar or Gita review on my channel, which by the way, y'all guys go in my playlist, my Bollywood on /ZTV playlist, go listen to that. I spoke about how Sanjeev Kumar basically wanted Hema Malini to become a housewife, like, leave acting alone if I were to marry you, and you have to be a housewife and take care of my mom and so forth, so forth. And Hema Malini was just like, I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to do that. Like, I just started my career. And then plus, I don't know how true this is. There's also a rumor that, Hema Malini's mom was like, well, Sanjeev Kumar's too fat to marry my daughter. So, personally for me, I think it's true. But then Hema Malini was like, oh, no, my mom didn't say that. Or whatever. So, that was that. And then, obviously, there was some other... but then, Dharmendra was always in the picture with Hema Malini. And, Hema Malini... And we have to be honest about this, y'all. We have to be... Hema Malini ended up becoming a side chick for Dharmendra. Okay, so Dharmendra was a married man at that time with 4 children. Hema Malini was messing with Dharmendra during the time when he was a married man with 4 children. Okay, it is what it is. And at that time, Hema Malini's... a lot of people were against it. Like, Hema Malini's parents were against her being with Dharmendra. They didn't want that relationship to happen. A lot of people were against it, and in a way, rightfully so, because it's like, why do you want to get with him? Like, why do you want to be? So, okay, so let's talk about what happened in Sholay. So it says here, so mind you, Sanjeev and Hema Malini, they had a little interaction back in like 1970. So now Sholay was taking place in 1975. So let's say late 74, 75, they were filming. So it says here that Sanjeev apparently came to Hema Malini, because now at this time, 1975, Hema Malini was involved with Dharmendra. He came to Hema Malini and told her, basically proposed to her again. And Dharmendra was not having it. So it says here that let's get to the part. It says here, to begin with, back in the early 70s, Sanjeev Kumar asked Hema Malini's hand in marriage from her parents after being completely smitten and blown away by her beauty. However, Hema Malini's mother abstained from the match to happen since by then she had already finalized a groom for Hema belonging to their same caste. Hema too agreed with her mother and had refused Sanjeev Kumar's marriage proposal. This action had terribly hurt Sanjeev and went to create a sour bond between the two. Interestingly, the story of Sanjeev Kumar and Hema Malini did not end there. Well, sometime later, it was also stated that the former did not completely end his pursuit of the dream girl of Bollywood. Reportedly, during the shooting of their film Sholay, Sanjeev had unannounced walked towards Hema and directly proposed to her for marriage yet again. But this time he was clearly unaware that Hema Malini had already moved on and was dating Dharmendra, who too was a part of the film. This move of his had straight up infuriated the couple, leading to which is Dharmendra, seek out the filmmaker directors Ram Sippy for some decorum. Coming to the end of this, look at Hema Malini's wig. I know this is such an off topic, but look at Hema Malini's wig. Why were they putting on wigs on this woman? Look at the wig. This wig. Oh, I'm so pissed. Coming to the end of this. Coming to the end of this tip, it was rumored that in a fit of rage, Dharmendra demanded that Ram Sippy to not even put together a single shot where Hema Malini and Sanjeev Kumar were to share the frame together at the same time. Interestingly, since Dharmendra was portraying one of the pivotal characters in the film and was a successful actor by then, Sippy had willingly accepted his request. Therefore, we take a closer look at the film. Surely, one could not find a single scene where Sanjeev Kumar and Hema Malini were present together. This is true. There was no scene between Hema Malini and Sanjeev Kumar, and by 1975, they were dating. They were dating each other. Now, I listen. At this point, I just think that Sanjeev Kumar, was really aiming for it, You know, Hema Malini's folks was against it. She was with Dharmendra, but then again, Hema Malini's folks was also against that. But then there's also a situation with what's his name? Jitendra? Jitendra? And that's a whole different conversation too, with Hema Malini in that situation. So, a lot of men, at that, especially in the 1970s, they wanted Hema Malini. Hema Malini was the dream girl. They wanted her as a wife. Doctors, a lot of people, But Dharmendra, I don't know what Dharmendra used. I don't know what kind of juju Dharmendra used on Hema Malini, but Hema Malini was crazy for Dharmendra. But at that time, the only problem was that he was married, and he already had a lot of children. And I also read, I don't know how true this is, I also read an article that Hema Malini's parents wanted to go back to Sanjeev Kumar to, just maybe you should marry Hema Malini, but they wanted to use him to get Hema Malini away from Dharmendra. So it's like, was that even going to be genuine? But at the time, I think at the time you couldn't tell Hema Malini nothing, especially mid 70s, mid to late 70s. You could not tell Hema Malini nothing. She was going to be with Dharmendra and with him for life. Okay, so listen, she was going to be a side chick for the rest of her life and become the second wife. Period. Point blank. Period. So, but I think Sanjeev Kumar ended up passing away, because Dharmendra and Hema Malini married, I think, in 1980. Let me look that up. 1980, and then yeah, and then I think Sanjeev Kumar ended up passing away a few years after that. There's a part of me that does believe that Sanjeev Kumar, because mind you, he never married again. He never, not married again, but he never married anyone after that. After he proposed to Hema Malini, he never got married. He never settled down or nothing. So there's a part of me that feels like Sanjeev Kumar died of a broken heart. And I do, it's a sad situation. It's a sad situation all around, but this is crazy. At times, the backstage stuff is way more interesting than the films. So, but anyway, y'all, that was my review of Sholay and the backstage antics behind the scenes. Y'all tell me what y'all guys think in the comment section below. Are y'all fans of Sholay? Do y'all guys love Sholay? What's your favorite scene? What's your favorite song? Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get up to 900 subscribers. The goal is to get to 1,000. I'll thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. I love y'all guys so much. And if y'all listen to this full video, y'all must be crazy as me. So subscribe to the channel. Let's get us to 900 subscribers. The goal is to get up to 1,000. I thank y'all so much, and I'll talk to y'all guys later. Bye.